What's up, guys? We're gonna keep the video short today because I'm low-key feeling kind of lazy and I just don't feel like talking for too long. But we're gonna talk about the book Atomic Habits. And this is a really amazing book. I think I read this in maybe 2 sittings over the course of 2 days. I just couldn't get enough of it. I thought it was great. The one thing with this book is it gives you a lot of different pieces of advice related to productivity and just getting more out of your day. And I think it can be a lot to keep track of. So what I wanted to do is just break down what I think are the 3 most important takeaways of this book. Now, one amazing habit that I like using a lot is whenever I'm doing something unproductive, I consciously say whatever I'm doing out loud, and I make a note that I'm consciously going against my will and doing something that I know I shouldn't be doing. So if I have homework to do and I'm scrolling Instagram, what I'll do instead of just letting that go unchecked, I'll basically say out loud the words to myself, I'm being unproductive right now. I'm on Instagram, even though consciously I'm trying to get off of it. And by actually putting this into words, it makes it so much easier to then think to yourself, okay, if I know I'm obviously doing the wrong thing, I should just stop. Because you might try to cope and come up with a bunch of different excuses if it's just in your mind. You might say to yourself, oh, I'm just taking a break, I'm just trying to relax, wind down. But if you can actively say out loud the unproductive activity that you're doing, it's so much easier to acknowledge that, okay, this isn't what I want to be doing, and I've actively acknowledged that. Now let me just take in that information and then cut it out and actually do something I'm supposed to be doing. Now, the second piece of advice from the book that I thought has been super helpful for my life is instead of setting end goals as your main priority, you have to set the process as your priority. So if I want straight A's in my classes for some semester, instead of constantly telling myself that I want A's, what I have to do instead is prioritize the actual process that's going to get me those A's. So I can't just think, oh, I want the grade. I have to think, okay, what am I going to do specifically? How many hours am I going to study? How am I going to set up my schedule to allow for myself to actually get these A's as opposed to the end result? It's the equivalent of being a basketball player and thinking, okay, how am I actually going to go about making all these points as opposed to just fixating on the scoreboard and the score you want at the end of the game. Focus more on the process than the final end goal. And now my final piece of advice from the book that I think is especially helpful is the best way to eliminate an unproductive habit from your day is to just completely remove whatever that thing is from your immediate environment. So for example, if you're trying to study but you're constantly getting fixated on your phone, a lot of people will say that you just have to build the discipline to not use your phone and you just have to keep it around you at all times. But if your main priority in the moment is just, I need to remove this so I can just focus on whatever I need to focus on, then the most productive way to do this is just remove it from your environment. It's similar to how in a chemistry lab, you can wear goggles, you can wear a lab coat to protect yourself from dangerous chemicals, but overall, the most productive way to actually be more safe in these environments is just to remove the chemicals from the room altogether if you don't need them. So if you're studying and you find that you don't have the discipline yet to actually not be tempted to look at your phone 24/7 while you're studying, then it's better to just remove your phone from the environment, remove whatever else is distracting you, and that's a very good starting point. Now, hopefully you can get something from these tips. If you haven't read the book yet, I suggest you do because it's a really quick read and it's really amazing for anyone who's interested in productivity and just getting more out of their study sessions or work or whatever else. If you're still here, I really appreciate you watching till the end. If you like videos like this, you should subscribe because there's going to be a whole lot more soon. But until then, I'll see you guys.